Morning, y'all. I'm finally back. I know I've not posted a video in a couple weeks, but I just got my wisdom teeth taken out. Yeah, and trust me, you did not want me to try to mumble my way through words with my teeth like that. But here we are. Good news. I've had a lot of time to catch up on some backlog stuff, play a lot of games, read some books, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But first, today's video, we're going to talk about the game that I just finished, that I started right before I got my teeth taken out, and that is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. And I think that we have my current game of the year, and yes, that includes Elden Ring. And just to be clear here, when I say game of the year, I'm talking about the games that I have played this year, not necessarily games that released this year. Because 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, I'm talking about a game that was released back in 2019, but this game is incredible. I had so much fun, so much more than I was expecting. I had listened to all the podcasts, heard a lot of people talk about this being, kind of flew under the radar, but how great it was. And oh my gosh, this game hit pretty much everything I like, and I just am so excited to talk about it, so let's get into it. So, in 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, it just starts off, and you are a group of high schoolers. So, 13 Sentinels has a really interesting way of telling its story. So, it kind of splits things up into three sets of kind of like aspects of the game. One of which doesn't really require any gameplay, and that's the analysis section, and that's where you accumulate all of your knowledge and stuff. But then the two that really matter is destruction, so that's where you have the actual gameplay of like fighting and stuff. And then you have remembrance, and remembrance is where the story is told. And you focus on 15 different high school students. And the way the story is told is it's told through little snippets, little vignettes that are like 5-10 minutes in length at a time. And they're all broken up. Now, sometimes you'll be able to unlock one student. So, like, Juro Karabe is one of the characters. You'll be able to play as him, but then he'll be locked until you reach, like, 15% in so-and-so story. And that's how it's told, is through these little snippets. And it's actually a really cool way of seeing how all of these characters intertwine throughout the story, because the story can get convoluted. And if it was just trying to tell it all in like a line, I don't think that it would have worked as well, because one of the things, and this is, starts to get into why this is so much of what I like, this game is sci-fi to the extreme. So this game has time travel. This game has kaiju, but in this game, the kaiju are robots. Still awesome. They have a UFO. We have what we think may or may not be aliens, again, because of the kaiju. And again, did I mention the time traveling? This game has everything that you could possibly ask for, and it's so well done. The voice acting, I didn't want to do, subbed or anything like that, so I just went with the English voice actors, is really good. So much better than you typically get with some of these, localized games. This game, the voice acting is phenomenal. It works. They do a great job. It is nowhere near as cheesy as what you can get with a lot of JRPGs. Now, don't get me wrong, I like JRPGs, but JRPGs, like anime, they have their moments where it's a little, you can kind of cringe a little. You don't get that with this game. And it is so well told. The way that they're able to piece together and actually make a coherent story out of all of the time traveling. The way time travel works in this game is you jump across 5 different time periods. However, they have it set in 40-year increments. Now, that gets explained in the story why it's set up that way, but at least the time travel, it has a little bit of like structure to it. It's not just like super willy-nilly, but still, because of the way time travel works, it's a lot to keep up with. Oh, some of the other sci-fi things I forgot to mention, you're also dealing with clones, and you're also dealing with androids. So there are certain times where you're like, which character is this? Is this a real character? Is this an android? Is this a clone? Who is this? What is this? Why is it? Oh, how am I looking at 2 people? Same face, different names. That happens a lot. But again, it all ends up making sense because the story is so well told in this game. It is phenomenal. I love it. This game is not just getting added to my Game of the Year list. This is going to be one of my favorite games of all time. I fully expect that I'm going to want to and will end up playing this game again. It was that good. I did platinum it on the PlayStation. That was where I played it. As far as I'm aware, that's the only place it's available. Maybe PC, but I'm pretty sure it's PlayStation only. Okay, some other things to talk about this game. The art is absolutely beautiful. I love the direction of the art. The funny thing is that I did not realize that this was made by Vanillaware. I hadn't been paying attention when I picked it up. I just picked it up because, you know, I'd heard so many people talk about it. But it being made by Vanillaware, the only reason I knew that was because I saw the art. I was like, wait a minute, this looks familiar. And it's because they did the art a lot like Odin's Sphere Leftriser. So that is a very niche name, a very niche game. So there's probably not a ton of people that have played it. And I have played it, I haven't beaten it, but it was also made by Vanillaware. And it has that same kind of hand-drawn, hand-colored, kind of colored pencil, kind of hand-painted look to it that is absolutely beautiful. I love the design of this game. And so, when you're in the story sections, when you're in those remembrance sections, it's all 2D with this very beautiful hand-drawn looking art style that is just, oh, is just absolutely phenomenal. There's nothing not to like with the way that they've done it. You know, sometimes you want 3D, but honestly, it doesn't. This game doesn't need it the way that they've done it, okay? So now let's talk about the gameplay, because of course that matters too. I mean, sometimes you just want a good story, but other times you want a good story, but you want great gameplay with it. I will admit that when I first started this game and I got into the gameplay, I was really confused. I was really thrown off. I was like, surely it's not going to be like this the whole time. But once you get used to it, it's actually pretty neat. So, trying to think of the best way to describe it, because I've never actually played a game that has you do gameplay like this before. So you can control up to 6 units, and you're defending like a point of interest, basically. And then you have this square map, and then they'll start to throw the kaiju in that you have to go and defend that central point in the map. And you either have to kill all the kaiju, or wait until the timer clocks down, and then, you know, there's this big EMP that goes out from your control point that kills all the kaiju. But the thing that's interesting is that you're kind of looking at the map from like an overhead thing. So kind of think more like think like a strategic game. Think like a StarCraft or something, in the sense that you're looking at the top of the map, and then you're not, you know, it's not first person, it's not third person, you're doing top down, and then you direct your 6 units, like, hey, I want you to go here, and then I want you to use this specific attack. It's not turn-based, but it is a little turn-based, because time does actually stop every time one of your units cools down and you're able to move them again. So it's like, it's kind of turn-based in that way, but it's also, it's not like a typical turn-based. Like, this isn't XCOM, where you're gonna, you know, you're gonna move a couple, you're gonna do your action, you're gonna go and cover or whatever from there. And then the way it appears on the map is that you have the map, and it's just like kind of like a flat landscape, and then they kind of sit up with these kind of almost Tron looking like digital design. Again, it's really different, but it's really cool, and once you get used to it, I really enjoyed it. There's something really satisfying, especially when you have an attack and you kill like 25 kaiju at once, and then you see them all explode one at a time. It's just great. It's a lot of fun. This game had everything you could ask for. It had really fun gameplay, really thoughtful gameplay. It is, because it does give you that chance to pause, you do have to think about what you're doing. So it does have kind of those kind of strategic elements, even though I wouldn't call it a strategy game. I wouldn't call it turn-based per se. I wouldn't call it real-time turn-based. You know, I wouldn't really call it real-time either. It's not RTS. It's really different, but I really enjoyed it. This game, again, is awesome. Great writing, phenomenal story, fun gameplay. They did something different because of the way they told the story through these 15 different students, all building off of one another, all interlocking. It's great. I love this game. If you have not played it, you need to go play it. Grab it on PlayStation. Again, it came out in 2019. You're going to be able to get this game for under $20. Go to GameStop and get it used. You could probably get it for $10. Don't miss it. I put about 30 hours into it. It was 30 hours well spent. I was not being like, God, I'm ready for this to get over. No. This game is awesome. It was well worth the 30 hours. You're going to want to go play it. Again, game of the year so far. I am adding this into my favorite games of all time list. And, you know, it's one where, like, it had a good ending to the story. I don't want a sequel because I don't want it to be ruined, but at the same time, I had so much fun. I would really like to have a sequel. So, we'll see what Vanillaware decides to do next, but y'all need to go check this one out. Have a great day. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and y'all have a nice day.